Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to another edition of the Heat This Week. I'm your host, Brandon Astle. On this week's show, we recap a home series with the Grand Rapids Griffins in another installment of Game of the Week. We get to know Chad Billen's hockey playing background, Joey McDonald takes a turn at rapid fire, and a member of the Abbotsford Heat takes home some AHL hardware. All that and more to come right here on the Heat This Week on Shaw TV. The Heat began an 8-game homestand at the Abbotsford Entertainment and Sports Center last weekend against the defending champion Grand Rapids Griffins. Now, the two teams weren't only tied in the season series at 1-1, but also had the same amount of wins and points in the standings. For this week's Game of the Week, we go back to Friday, February 28th, when the Heat and Griffins had their third meeting of the season.
Got the Heat in their home white uniforms, moving from our broadcast left to right. The Griffins in their road blues, red trim, white numbers from my right to left. The two teams dead even in the standings. Both have 33 wins, both 71 points in the Western Conference. It's a dead heat. Jones has the big shot. He sets it up for Berchi. Cross-ice feed LaFranchise. Plays it down towards Locke. It comes to Street. Street on goal, and they score! Sven Berchi got a piece of it. Squeak between the 5-hole of Mrazek. That's one the Griffins goaltender is going to want to have back. It's a power play goal for Sven Berchi. And the Heat are up 1-0 with 13:49 to go. Not the way they drew it up, but hey, they'll take it. McKelvey falls. Tried to make the play to Locke. Griffins skated in. Here's Pulkkinen down the right wing. He'll let it go, and he scores! What a shot from Pulkkinen. Ties the game with a blast on the right wing. Beats Olivier Waugh blocker's side. And the team's leading goal scorer, Timo Pulkkinen, 3 points on Wednesday, on the board here in this first period. 3-on-2 for Grand Rapids. Pulkkinen drops it off. Here's a chance, and a shot fired high by Järnkrok. Puck was rolling on him. Pulkkinen gets it back, feeds it back to Järnkrok. Now to Jensen for a slap shot, scores! The Griffins have their first lead of the game, and it's Nick Jensen getting his first goal of the season. Jones hustles out to center. It's Billens with a puck. Jones gets a pass on the wing, cuts it on the backhand. Jones with a shot, and the net goes off as he gets thrown into the net. Face-off will stay in the Griffins zone. Griffins are 0 for 1 on the power plays. I see Jones nearly had room on the backhand there, but a good stop by Peter Mrazek. Stays 2-1, and now Hanowski off the bench takes it in. Passes to Olsen. Olsen drop pass, Reinhart in, shoots, scores! Max Reinhart ties it up! 3:51 to go. Great pass by Olsen, spotting the trailer, Max Reinhart. The Heat starting to get some momentum late in this period. And Max Reinhart snaps it home. Now Callahan and LaFranchise tie up. Puck's loose for Olsen. Good play. Olsen gets the puck, but he can't clear. Great hold from Almquist. Backdoor free Nesterschil. In the slot, here's Järnkrok with a shot, and he scores. This line does it again. This time it's Järnkrok beating Waugh top shelf. It's a power play goal. The Heat couldn't clear, and the Griffins made him pay. 20 seconds left, and that's a back-breaking goal there. Up ahead for Reinhart. Nice center ice pass to Berchi. Berchi on the left wing. Works his way in. Berchi backdoor feed, and Reinhart scores! What a passing play! Berchi finds a streaking Max Reinhart, and he's got 2 tonight. Puck bouncing, and here's a chance. Sven Berchi turns it back with Locke. O'Brien joins the rush to make it a 3-on-2. Berchi shoots, stop, rebound, O'Brien, stop, Berchi again, put it wide, and back come the Griffins' odd man rush. McIntyre and Pulkkinen. Here's Pulkkinen, backdoor to McIntyre, and it jumped over his stick. And back the other way come the Heat. What action! Another 3-on-2. It's Billins. Drop pass. Berchi in alone. Stopped. Rebound. Billins in front. Back to Berchi. His shot stopped by Mrazek. Oh my goodness, everything is happening right now. And here he goes. Veteran forward Corey Emerton with speed against Waugh in Deeks, and he's stopped by Waugh. Stretches out with a right pad. Looked like he was beat, but stayed with it. And we are 0-0 through 3 shooters each. Now coming over the boards is Sven Berchi. 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. In a shootout this year, he's 1 for 1. He can make this puck dance. We'll see what he can do. Berchi picks it up. Here he comes. In, shoots, scores! 5-hole! Heat up 1-0. Same way he scored his other shootout goal this year. 5-hole shot. Quick stick. And the Heat are up 1-0. He's not who you'd think would shoot, but he has a goal, and here he comes to keep the game alive. Evans, down towards his right. Deeks, and he scores! What a goal from Evans. He keeps the shootout alive. And here he comes. Billins looking to burn his former team. Walks in, Mrazek comes way out. Wow, and the move worked. Billins didn't expect it, and Mrazek knocked it off his stick. Here's Fournier in the Heat zone to win it. Fournier shoots, scores! Griffins win. 2-1 in the shootout. It took 8 rounds. They get the extra point. The Heat had a chance to win it, but an unlikely hero in Brendan Evans kept it going in round 5 and in round 8.
A night later, the Griffins went on to a 5-2 win, which sealed the season series in their favor. Time for a break. On the other side, it's former Griffins defenseman Chad Billins in Player Profile. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Heat this week on Shaw TV. Welcome back to the show. Undrafted defenseman Chad Billins took the hard route to make the pros, but he is in his first season in the Flames organization, and he is making some very big strides. Here is the Michigan native in Player Profile. Chad, what are your memories at an early age playing hockey?
I just remember playing hockey, all my life. I started skating when I was, I think, 2 or 3, and my dad played hockey, and we had a rink in our backyard, and it's just kind of it's been a big part of my life and my family's life as well. I have 2 younger brothers that play as well.
Was hockey always your number 1 sport growing up, or was there another sport at the top of the list?
I played hockey and baseball. Mostly I played baseball my first year and all the way up to first year in high school, and then I decided to take hockey more serious and just stick with that.
Were you always a defenseman?
No, actually. Used to be a forward. I think I switched when I was, 11 or 12, but we were on the way to a hockey game a couple hours away. I was with my dad, and he was a coach at the time with our assistant coach, and we needed a defenseman, and one got hurt, so I thought that you could get on the ice a little bit more than a forward, so I decided to learn how to skate backwards a little bit better, and it's stuck ever since.
Being a smaller type defenseman, I imagine you grew up hearing that your size was probably a knock. How much did that motivate you to try to prove those doubters wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely something I've had to deal with all my life, but you don't really think about it. It's definitely a motivation to prove people wrong, but at the same time it's something I've dealt with all my life, so it's not like I think about it every day or anything like that. It's just something you have to overcome. You got to work that much harder.
Before turning pro, you spent 4 years at Ferris State University. Was going to school and getting an education always number 1 for you on the list, or was there any other opportunities you thought about going after, like the CHL?
I wanted to go to school. I wanted to get an education. That was my main goal. When I played junior hockey, I wanted to spend my time at a university and get your diploma, and I was able to do that, and I was fortunate enough to attend Ferris State, and it was one of the best choices I made. I made a lot of friends there, and it was it's a small town community, and it's it's a pretty special atmosphere around there.
You were named co-captain in your senior year at Ferris State. How big of an honor was that for yourself?
Yeah, it was a huge honor. You know, you work hard for, you know, those 3 years when you're, you know, a freshman all the way to a junior, and then you get to represent your team, and you know, it's a huge honor, and to be able to have Tommy Hill was the other co-captain there, you know, right by my side. It was fun to, you know, to try to lead the guys and teach them what Bulldog hockey was all about.
So here you are in your second professional season. Last year you were with Grand Rapids, and in your rookie year you won a Calder Cup, and imagine that was quite the thrill for yourself.
Yeah, it was exciting. It's you know, it happened. It was happened fast, just the transition to pro hockey, and you know, it was a great year last year, and you know, we were able to make quite a push and come up with the, you know, the championship, and it was such a special year, and it's something that you know, someone can't really take that away from you. You're always going to remember those group of guys that you won with, and you know, it was a fun year.
Earlier this season, you got your first taste of NHL action with the Flames. Looking back at your entire career up until this point, do you ever have to kind of pinch yourself to see how far you've come? And I say that because you're an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of happens fast when you're playing hockey, but you know, in a way it goes fast, and in a way it's kind of a grind. So it's been quite a thrill to, you know, it's what I've been doing, my family's been doing, you know, all my life is play hockey, and to come this far and to try to get back there is you know, it just makes you that much more hungry to, you know, try to get back there.
Marcus Granlund, although not on the Heat right now as he's up with the Calgary Flames, he's still picking up some hardware. On Monday, the AHL announced their monthly award winners, and Granlund picked up Rookie of the Month honors as he scored 12 points in 10 February games, including a 5-game goal-scoring streak at one point during the month, and had 4 multi-point games. And the accolades do not stop there for Marcus, as he picked up his first NHL point on Monday night. He assisted Mark Giordano's third-period goal, and it was a special occasion because his brother was at the other end of the ice as he plays for the Minnesota Wild, so you know it was a very special evening in the Granlund household. Time for another break. On the other side, veteran goaltender Joey McDonald takes a turn at rapid fire. You're watching the Heat this week on Shaw TV. Joey McDonald is in his first season in a Heat uniform, and earlier this week against Texas, he appeared in his 300th AHL game. Here's the veteran goaltender in rapid fire. Joey, favorite minor hockey memory?
I think probably back in AAA midget when we on our way to the Air Canada Cup, I would say.
Who is the best goalie you've ever played with?
Oh, that's a tough one. I played with a lot. I played with Hasek, Osgood, Kipper was there. Like, it's tough to narrow those 3 guys down.
What were some other sports you played growing up?
Played soccer, a little bit baseball, lots of road hockey.
Favorite thing to do in your hometown of Pictou, Nova Scotia?
Sit back, relax, and do some farming with my dad in the summer.
Best NHL city you played in?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Chicago. Going to Chicago is always a fun city to play in.
Favorite movie of all time?
Con Air.
What is one thing people don't know about Pavel Datsyuk, who you played with?
I think everybody knows everything about Pavel Datsyuk. He's unbelievable. Like, he can do whatever you want with the puck. Like, he comes in. I remember my first year, like 10 different breakaways, and he'd score like 8 of them.
Worst injury you suffered in your career?
Probably my back surgery in 2005.
What were your grades like in school?
Terrible.
Gonna test the memory here. Who was the team you had your first NHL win against?
First NHL win came against.
Hint: it's the logo on your hat.
Calgary Flames, yeah, 7-3 or 7-4 win.
What is your favorite kind of junk food?
It's chocolate.
Plans for life after hockey?
I think probably get into goalie coaching or coaching young kids.
Which current NHL player or goaltender do you keep in touch with the most?
I still kind of keep in touch with Jimmy Howard, Chris Osgood.
What's your worst habit?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I got so many, I can't say them all. No. Can't answer that one. I don't know.
And finally, Joey, if you could go to dinner with any two people in the world, past or present, who would they be?
Past or present? Let's go Matthew McConaughey and Will Ferrell.
This has been Rapid Fire with
Joey McDonald.
The Heat played 6 home games in the month of February and played some pretty good hockey at the AESC with a 4-2 record. Let's take a look at some of the home highlights this past month.
Saucer pass, Locke, head up to the slot, Juris shot, scores! Pretty passing play from the Heat, and Corey Locke finds Josh Juris. Olsen and Street. Olsen has it on the left wing, walks in, passes the Street, back to Olsen, Street again, and he scores! How about that? You take it. No, you take it. Okay, I'll shoot it. Ben Street's on the board. Josh Juris throws it out to the middle for Berchi. Berchi back to Juris in front, and he scores! Beautiful entry into the Hamilton zone. Street wins a face-off to Smith for a one-timer, and he scores! That was fast! A clean face-off win. Ben Street to Derek Smith. One-timer top shelf. Berchi in alone, stopped. Rebound, Billings in front. Back to Berchi. His shot stopped by Mrazek. Oh my goodness, everything is happening right now.
Time for our last segment of the show, and Tuesday morning's game between the Heat and Stars was the annual school day game. Thousands of middle school kids from the Abbotsford School District were in attendance, including members of the Claiborne Film Club who shot these interviews with a few members of the Heat organization.
I'm Michael from Claiborne Middle Film Club with the head coach of the Abbotsford Heat, Troy G. Ward. What's the description of your job?
Well, Michael, my day-to-day job is really to prepare our team to play. Coaching is slash teaching, and anybody that teaches and goes through that process knows that sometimes it's not the most financial position in the world that you could set out to be, but it's one of the most gratifying because you help people grow and become better.
What education and training did you need to get your job?
Well, I got a double major in college in coaching, physical education, so I became a coach, went to school to coach, be a physical education teacher. And then my master's, I really wanted to be on the administrative side because I think a big part of being successful is being organized and being detailed and making sure people are all on the same page.
And do you have any advice for any middle school students?
I would say, and I say to our players all the time, the best attribute we can probably have in today's world with the technology and the world we live in is you got to be a good listener. And I think you got to be open to change and understanding that things are going to change rapidly in our world and how we do things. And those that are open-minded and are willing to listen really well, I think will have good lives.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Michael with the Claiborne Film Club with Brandon Astle, the play-by-play broadcaster and the media relations coordinator from the Abbotsford Heat. What is the description of your job?
There's a couple of things, Michael. The first thing is the play-by-play, obviously doing all 76 games, 38 here at home and 38 on the road. And my other job is doing a lot of media stuff, whether that's gathering the game notes or coordinating interviews on the radio, television, and stuff like that with the players and coaches. So it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it.
What education and training did you need to get your job?
I went to Columbia Academy. It was a quick 10-month program downtown Vancouver. I was in and out of there, got my diploma, and next thing you knew, I was a play-by-play broadcaster for the Langley Chiefs, so it worked out pretty good.
What are some of the challenges that you faced doing your job?
Play-by-play wise, I guess switching it up and not saying the same thing twice. Whether you're trying to describe someone dumping it in, you'll get say, oh, he dumps it in a certain amount of times. You got to kind of switch up your vocabulary. So whether that's paying attention to other broadcasters and what they say, or occasionally looking through a dictionary or thesaurus to increase your vocab. You got to do what you got to do, and so that's definitely one of the big challenges. I don't take any day for granted, just being able to rub elbows with some special people and special players, and the coaching staff is great. They've been good to me since day one, so I can't ask for anything more.
I'm Eric from the Claiborne Film Club, here with Ryan Walter, president of the Abbotsford Heat. What's your job description?
My job description is pretty broad at this point. Basically, it's the business side of the Abbotsford Heat.
What's your favorite part of your job?
Favorite part of my job is people. I love the people in our building. I love the people on our team. I love our players, our coaches. It's always about people for me.
What education or training did you get to do your job?
Great question. I've been around hockey all my life. I did a master's degree in leadership business when I was 45 years old. So I actually took some time out to play in the NHL and then went back to school. And I probably read 4 or 5 books a month. I figure that school is never over. School is about learning. And don't look at school as something negative. Look at school as something that sets you up for the rest of your life.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure, and good job.
That's it for this week's show. The Heat's 8-game homestand continues this weekend with Chicago paying their first visit of the season. We will be back next week to break it all down and much, much more. And we may just have our second installment of Roommates. Thanks for watching. I'm Brandon Astle. Until next time, you're up to date with the Abbotsford Heat. See you at the rink.